Hey guys, Crouching Tuna. I'd like to introduce you to my 3.12 League starter. It's a Toxic Rain Miner, played on Trickster. And I'm really excited to start Heist League with this character as it's very strong, very fast, and very defensive. So as a key item for the build, I use the Kintsugi. Kintsugi is very, very strong. It gives us 20% damage reduction if we haven't been hit recently, and it gives us a lot of evasion once we have been hit, which makes us very slippery. We stacked that with the Wind Dancer Keystone, now located on the tree, down nearby Ranger. And this is gonna help us further enhance our defenses, as it'll give us 40% damage reduction and a lot of evasion. On top of that, we like to use Atsiri Steps. Atsiri Steps in combination with acrobatics and phase acrobatics, as well as no witnesses and the quartz flask, will cap our dodge. So that means that with these keystones, Kintsugi and Wind Dancer, we are very, very tanky, very evasive. We like to use the Dying Sun as well. Dying Sun provides extra projectiles and extra AoE, which enhances our damage by creating bigger areas for pods to stack up and pods to deal more damage over time, essentially. We use a Profane Proxy Ring in our left ring socket. This replaces the chilling area of Skitterbots and provides us with Despair as an AoE aura to nearly no expense, as the chilling aura doesn't really provide us much since we already have 70% hinder from Toxic Rain. For our leveling progression, we will first go for Coordination, Path through Entropy. We will take Fangs of the Viper, Resourcefulness, Lethal Assault, Cold-Hearted Calculations. Then we will move up to No Witnesses, so that we can start being very fast in the early acts. We will then also take Growth and Decay, and then we will path out to Clever Constructions. Next, we will rush the mine nodes. That is Volatile Mines on the top left of the tree. Once we have Volatile Mines, we will then path through the Life, Written in Blood. And we will also take Atrophy, which is the Chaos Damage Multiplier cluster. And then we can also take Saboteur shortly after to get an additional mine once we start having enough mana to actually lay down all our mines. Next, we will path down through the Dexterity under Fangs of the Viper. And we shall go to Revenge of the Hunted, which is the life cluster by Ranger, and Phase Acrobatics. You can choose which one you would like to go focus first. I usually go for Acrobatics and Phase Acrobatics before I choose to pick up the life. However, it is entirely up to you whether you do that, depending on what sort of playstyle you have. You want to go don't get hit and rely on dodge, or do you just want to invest directly into life for your survivability in the early acts? So once we've picked up Phase Acrobatics, I would suggest you go towards Method to Madness. Method to Madness is very, very strong. This will give you a lot of Chaos Damage Multiplier. And, you know, in return, a lot of damage. Efficient Explosives is actually really, really strong for miners, as it gives a 10% chance to detonate an additional mine. So for mines to be detonated an additional time, which in essence means that we get 10% more damage, as it's just a 10% chance to get an additional instance of damage. And on top of that, it gives us a lot of mana reduction to our mines. We also take Hunter's Gambit, which is similarly very, very, very strong for our damage over time. And then we will path down to Herbalist to gain the life. And this is when we make our trip to finally Wind Dancer, as well as Freedom of Movement, which will give us additional dodge, 10% chance to gain phasing on kill, which is very, very nice while mapping, as well as Thick Skin, which is just life in general, which is always very nice. And as we progress our tree, we can make small changes to pick up jewel sockets, clusters, and things like that. The tree is very flexible so long as you keep the fundamentals in there. So the keystones and the damage nodes. Yeah, That is how you progress the tree during the axe. Moving on to Ascendancies. The first Ascendancy we take is Patient Reaper. Patient Reaper gives us 50% increased damage over time. It also gives us a 2% chance to recover energy shield and life on kill, as well as a 4% chance for mana. Additionally, it also gives a 70% increased recovery rate of life, mana and energy shield if we've killed an enemy affected by our damage over time recently. Because of the way that damage over time works, it's always attributed to the player. Therefore, things like Patient Reapers are procced, since it's our damage over time that's killing, not the mine itself. This is very, very nice for this build, since it lets us achieve this incredible recovery. And lets us proc, say, Onslaught Jewels, Phasing Jewels, as well as Patient Reaper and other on-kill effects. Next, we will go to Prolonged Pain. Prolonged Pain is the most important passive on this Ascendancy. It will give us 20% increased skill effect duration, 20% more damage over time, as well as 10% reduction to damage over time. That means that with Kintsugi and Wind Dancer, we will take a total of negative 50% damage over time, which will make us very safe from Chaos degens and Cold degens from, say, Shaper or Elder. Next we will go to Ghost Dance. This is our third lab. Ghost Dance will give us Ghost Shrouds and additional damage reduction while we have Ghost Shrouds. Since we have a lot of evasion and dodge, our Ghost Shrouds will rarely go down because we are so rarely hit, meaning that we can achieve an almost 100% uptime on an additional 6% damage reduction. Finally, our Uber lab is Escape Artist. Escape Artist will give us a lot of evasion, depending on how much energy shield we have on our helmet. You don't really have to go out of your way to craft an insane energy shield helmet. I think just going for a high ES base in general will be enough. On top of that, it will give us energy shield for how much evasion we have on our chest, which, since we're using Kintsugi, is a lot. On top of that, we will be stun immune so long as we have our Ghost Shroud. And as previously mentioned, we have almost 100% uptime in our Ghost Shrouds, since the only thing that will really get through our 82% avoidance chance would be, let's say, machine gun projectiles, or maybe we got extremely unlucky with our dodge chance and we've been hit recently. And overall, we will almost never go down. On top of that, we'll get another 10% dodge chance for spells, which will really help us cap our spell dodge and make us even more defensive in maps. Finally, for our bandit choices and pantheons, we take 2 passive points, as no other bandit really proposes anything substantial. And for our pantheons, we will take the Soul of Lunars upgraded to avoid projectiles, an extra 10% chance, and an extra 5% dodge chance if we've been hit recently, which generally we don't need whatsoever. The most important upgrade would be the avoid projectiles one. For our minor pantheon, it doesn't really matter too much. This is completely up to you. I like Soul of Aberrath because I'm not too much of a fan of Scorched Ground in maps, so I always take this just to avoid having to deal with the degen in the maps. Although it might seem like our HP pool is very low, with an 82% chance to not be hit, and all the damage reduction that we get from both Kintsugi and Wind Dancer, POB approximately calculates our effective life pool at 45,000 EHP, and we can take a maximum hit of 8,265 damage with the current life pool, meaning that we can actually take very, very big hits. We are not immune to one-shots, however, but we will always be dodging them most of the time, meaning that mapping will be very, very smooth. However, I do not recommend this build for hardcore, as there will be a very small chance that you just get one-shot out of nowhere, because that's essentially how dodge works. This is just a very comfortable softcore mapping League starter build, and I would really recommend it. The link to the path to building is in the description. It has a very detailed guide in the notes, as well as trees that you can look over for your progression through the axe. And I will always be available on my channel, twitch.tv/crouchingtuna, if you have any questions about the build, or if you're playing the build yourself and would like to see me progress through Heist with the build. Don't be afraid to come ask questions, say hello. It's a pretty friendly community. I have a lot of fun streaming, and I'm very grateful for what I do. So thank you very much. I will leave some clips now playing of my Uber Theory and Uber Elder. I hope you've enjoyed the guide, and hope that you enjoy the build.
I may not remember.
Father, no!
Putrefy, rot, spoil, and fester.
Exile, do something!
Gaze into the abyss. Gaze into the abyss. Gaze into the abyss. Embraced by misery. Gaze into the abyss. Gaze into the abyss. Gaze into the abyss.
Need a map?
You have fabricated your entire memory.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
With your death, this nightmare
Low on
will
mana.
finally end. I'm faster. I'm not the only hunter. Dance! Dance! Let me out. Please let me out.